Whenever we start something new, whether this be a new business or a new chapter in life, or we meet a new person, or even we just start reading a new book, we have expectations. Before we begin, before we even start something, we have expectations on how something should turn out. And having expectations necessarily opens us up to the possibility of disappointment, to the possibility of those expectations not coming true, of defeat, of anger, of resentment, of regret. And there are many who will tell you that the simple solution to this would be to just not have any expectations. If you never try, if you never have any expectations, if you never have any goals, wishes, ambitions, they can't be disappointed, and so you can't be hurt. But this is only to run away from the problem. And it's really the worst of both worlds. To never try is to never achieve. To never achieve is to never try. Ralph Waldo Emerson, whom I think we should all read, says, "Are you not aware that you are not allowed to go if you are not equally willing to be prevented from going?" Are you not aware that you are not allowed to go if you are not equally willing to be prevented from going? Word for word, this might be the most wisdom in a single sentence like this. And there's never anything better that you can understand, that you can achieve for yourself than what Emerson in this one sentence is telling us, which is acceptance, which is submission. What if we could have expectations? And what if we need to have expectations, which is my personal opinion? Because to make a decision, to move forward, to make progress, to choose whichever path, either physical or path in life, if you need to go left or right, the only way that you can decide that is to have preferences, is to have expectations. Because you say, oh, if I take this path on the left, I expect to come to a better place. I expect to reach this or that destination. So without having preferences, without having wishes, ambitions, goals, and expectations, we cannot live in the world. We would just be dormant. We would just be inactive and passive. That's why the advice of just not having expectations, while it might be a step in the right direction, it is not something that allows us to both live our lives to the fullest, as well as to avoid the worst parts of disappointment, which is anger, resentment, regret, anger at others, anger at ourselves. What if there was a way in which we could both have those necessary expectations to make decisions and to have dreams and to have goals and to wish for things and to hope for things and to dream for things? But at the same time, in the case that those expectations were disappointed, that we are not disappointed. There's a big difference between a goal failing and a person failing, a wish not coming true and a person not being fulfilled. And for our expectations to be disappointed, and for the person to be disappointed, there are big differences here and that don't necessarily go hand in hand. And that's exactly what Emerson is expressing in that sentence. If before we start on a journey, again, this might be a business venture, a new friendship, a new anything, we can, should, and must have expectations. Expectations are standards, expectations are goals, and expectations often also dictate the methods, and everything that's right or wrong in our conduct lies there and is motivated by our expectations, desire, wishes, goals, ambitions, whatever you want to call them. So before we start out, we make expectations, but we never ever consider, most of us, that those expectations can fail, that and that they can fail not because we've done something wrong, but because of the simple fact that there are external factors, partially and also completely out of our control. And to wish that everything that we wish should come true, that the world must conform to us rather than us conforming to the world, is delusion. It's just not reality. We fail and we get angry and resentful and regretful and really disappointed in the whole world and all of humanity, really only when we have this expectation that the world needs to conform to us. And when we try to impose our own personal standard onto the world, onto life, onto the universe. When there's a simple fact that there is a universal standard, there's a standard bigger than our own standard or someone else's standard or all of our standards combined. There is a universe that we come from that existed for billions of years before us and perhaps will after us. And to think that we can stand up to anything that life gives us is just, in a way, it's madness. We've said this before, if you're at a beach and a 40-foot wave all of a sudden starts coming, that's when we understand that we cannot stand up against nature and that we need to yield, that we need to accept, and that we need to be getting out of its way rather than just standing there and expecting that wave to get out of our way. But that's what we do in life with expectations. We say, oh, this new business should be this and this and this, and I will do everything that I'm supposed to do, and then everything should work out. And we never go further, and we go head first into that venture, whatever it may be, and never consider the universal standard. We must adapt to the universal standard. It will not and should not adapt to us. And there's an immense freedom in setting expectations, because that's also what the universe asks of us. It's a part of what it asks of us, to set those expectations, to make decisions, to have goals, to have a plan, to have an idea of where this is all going, or where it should go, where we would like it to go. So when we have, like many people advise us, when we don't have any expectations, sure, we lose nothing, but we also gain nothing. So how perfect would it be to have expectations, to possibly gain everything that we expect, but that if those expectations don't come true, if they're not satisfied, if things don't turn out, what if we could practice acceptance? To say that there is a universal standard much, much, much infinitely grander than my own. And how can I understand something that much bigger? How can I assume that I know better than life, than the universe, than the world, than all the minds in the world combined? It's a conceit to think like that. While it is not at all, like we said, conceited to make plans, to have ambitions, to have goals, and to do whatever we think we need to do to set them into motion, it is conceited to think that they must turn out that way, that the world owes us that the universe owes us the completion and the so-called success of our plans. We are free to do whatever we want, and the universe will show us if we were acting according to reason, if what we were planning and wishing made sense or not. Either way, it's fine. Either we have advanced in the case of our expectations coming true, or we have advanced towards advancement in the case that they don't come true. Because our goal is not this or that ambition. Our goal is not this or that venture, this or that plan, this or that project. But it is to find the greater thing in life, the best thing that actually aligns with the universe and not just in our own thinking. So if we try something and it doesn't work out, that's the universe's way, that's life's way, that's fortune's way of saying that wasn't right. Either it wasn't the right thing or it wasn't the right time. But what have you lost, really? You have tried and you have succeeded either way. Either you have advanced or you have advanced towards advancement. In everything you do, before you venture out, before you start walking towards it, before you start moving towards it, consider the universal standard. Be fully aware that you are free to do all of these things and that you should do all these things and that it is your human part, your human life in this universe to have these ambitions and to try things and to do things. And that that's all well and good. But go further and consider the universal standard with which your standard must align. If it aligns, good for you. If it doesn't align, also good for you, because now you know that it doesn't align. Adapt, try something new. Do not resent. To resent what is happening to you is to think that the universe, the whole rest of the world, is wrong and that you're right, that some injustice is being done to you. But you can only see the tiniest, smallest corner of the world and of the universe and of ideas and what is really going on in the world. To think that you can see better, that you can see more than the universe, which is all of that there is, including you, yourself, and your own standard, is very conceited and deluded and just plain unreasonable and illogical. You want to be reasonable, you want to be logical, you want to be in tune with all that there is and not against it, not apart from it. But that's exactly what we do when we resent, when we regret, and when we get angry at things not working out. Always consider the universal standard and accept all that is happening to you. And never forget that you are not allowed to go unless you're equally willing to be prevented from going.